Hello.
Hi.
It's me.
So, by now, you have finished your rough cut, and if it's a little messy, if it's a little sloppy, that is okay. That is what this lesson is for, because we're gonna be doing fine cutting. So this is all about refining our cuts, getting precise with those details, and then adding the finishing touches to our video. So let's talk about what we're covering in this lesson. We're gonna start with audio, and we're gonna get rid of any sound from any microphone that you don't want in your final video. Then I'm gonna show you where to find music for your video, and I'm gonna hook you up with some free and some paid options. And we'll also talk about audio waveforms, how to read them, and how to use them to cut your clips to the beat. And then I'm gonna walk you through Premiere's timeline tools, and I'm gonna show you how they can make editing so much faster when you know how to use them the right way. So we'll start with the most essential tools, and then we'll jump into a few that a lot of people don't know about. And of course, we'll be talking about some creative decisions along the way. All right, let's get into it. The first thing I do before I go from my rough cut to my fine cut is I always duplicate my sequence. That way, if I mess anything up, I can always go back to that old sequence if I need to. So to duplicate our sequence here, I'm gonna right click it, and then I'm gonna select duplicate, and then I'm gonna press enter to rename this, and I'm just going to call it sequence 2. And now I'm gonna double click this sequence to open it in the timeline, then I'm gonna X out our original sequence that was our rough cut to make sure I'm working on the right thing here. All right, now let's get into our audio, and I'm gonna put some headphones on for that. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna unmute this audio track by clicking this M here. And this is the audio that came from our camera. And most of the time, the audio recorded by our camera was getting us saying things like, hey, can you move that a little bit to the left or get a little more in the light, please? I can't really have that playing during our picnic sequence because it kind of makes things unnatural. So we wanna get rid of that camera audio. So let me just select all this audio from our camera here, and you'll see that if I hit the delete key, it's gonna delete not only the audio, but our video too. And the reason Premiere has deleted the video with the audio is because the video and the audio here are linked. And most of the time, the footage that comes out of your camera is gonna have video and audio that are linked. That's the default so that you don't accidentally shift your audio and throw things out of sync. But since we don't want the audio for these clips, I'm gonna zoom out and we're gonna unlink these clips. So I'm gonna select all of them, right click, and then I'm going to go to unlink. Now I can select just the audio and delete it. All right, so now it's time to pick out some music for our video. And I know that this is obvious, but I feel like I need to say it. Music can have a huge effect on how your video feels. So don't underestimate it. Definitely take the time to pick out that perfect song. So if you're following along with our picnic sequence, then you're gonna find a couple song options in the project files. A really talented composer named David Cutter owns these, and he has a library of other songs as well that you're welcome to use for free in your videos, but you must credit and link to him if you're gonna do that. So please, if you use his songs, don't forget to credit him. Now, if David Cutter is not your style, then I've got a full list of my favorite places to find music, including paid and free options and notes on how I use these. And that list is linked down in the lesson below. So definitely check that out and bookmark that if you want. But in our case, for our picnic video, I am using a song called Honey by David Cutter. So I'm just gonna drag that from the project panel onto our timeline down here in our first audio track. Now, the first thing I do after I drag a music track onto the timeline is I usually lock the track. And that's gonna make sure that no matter what I do on this timeline, nothing is gonna change about this audio track.
Can't touch this.
If I did not click this lock, and let's say I zoomed in and I wanted to make a cut, then you'll notice that it has also cut our song. And so that's gonna make the music skip. So I'll play that back so you can hear it. Because I don't want my music to skip, I'm gonna undo that and lock this music track. Okay, now when I start cutting these clips, I wanna try to cut to the beat of this song, because when the visuals and the music are working together, it can be just so much more powerful, right? Now, every clip doesn't always have to be cut to a beat in every single video. If you have a video where somebody's talking, then it's way more important that the visual line up with what they're saying than that the visual get cut right on the beat, But since we don't have anybody talking in this video, we might as well make those clips cut to the beat. And so of course we could just use our ears to help us find the beat in this song, but we could also use something called waveforms to help us out. And audio waveforms are just a visual way to show audio that has a wavy form. So you can think of an audio waveform like a heart monitor. So every time the heart monitor makes noise, the waveform spikes, and whenever the heart monitor is quiet, the waveform is flat. And the louder the audio, the taller the waveform, and the quieter the audio, the shorter the waveform. And if I say nothing at all, then the waveform is flat. So that is how a waveform works vertically, and horizontally, a long sound is going to look like a plateau, and a short sound is going to look like a spike. So with all of that said, what does a beat dropping in a song look like on an audio waveform? It should look like a spike in the audio waveform, right? So if it's a big beat, it's gonna be a tall spike. If it's just a little then it's gonna be a short spike. But basically, if you wanna cut your clips so that they start at the beat, then you wanna make sure that you're cutting your clips at the start of a spike. And you know what would be really cool is if we could just mark everywhere there's a beat in our song on our timeline so that we knew exactly where to cut. Well, you know, we're working with Premiere Pro, so you know we can. First, we're gonna go to our timeline, and you can see that we have our audio waveform here. And if you're like, no, I don't see no waveform, then you're gonna go up to this little wrench at the top left of this timeline panel, and then you're gonna make sure that this here where it says show audio waveform, make sure that is checked. You also want to make sure that your audio track is expanded. If it's short like this, then make sure you double click on it. You can also drag it down, or you can press Shift plus to expand the track. And so I'm just going to unlock this temporarily so we can see this waveform a little bit better. And you'll see that we've got two waveforms here actually, because this is a stereo track. So we've got one for left and one for right. Okay, now let's go to the beginning of our timeline, and now we're gonna add markers. And markers are exactly what they sound like. So they mark places on your timeline so that you can quickly go back and find them later when you need to. So to add a marker, you're gonna go up to this little icon at the bottom of your program monitor panel, and it's gonna say add marker. And after we click that, you'll see that it added a little marker at the top of our timeline. Okay, if you do not see this add marker button, then I want you to go over here to this plus symbol, and it says the button editor. This is where you can add different buttons to the bottom of your program monitor panel, and just find this add marker button, and then you're just gonna drag it down to the bottom of this panel so that it stays there. You can also add a marker by just pressing the M key, and again, we'll see it pop up at the top of the timeline. Okay, so now I'm going to listen to the song, and I'm going to press M every time there's a beat. It's kind of like one of those hearing tests where you're supposed to press a button when you hear a noise. That's what you're doing here. And I just want to apologize in advance because the song that I picked called Honey, it's got kind of a funky beat. And so if you're somebody that struggles with rhythm a little bit, then you might want to use this other song that I picked out called Park. It's a little easier to find the beat for that one. Okay, here goes. Okay, so I've gone through 60 seconds of the song, and so now I'm gonna go back and compare where I put my markers to my audio waveform, and I wanna make sure that every marker is at the start of where a spike is in my audio waveform. Okay, so let me zoom in and check where I have put these marks. You can see that big noise is this spike in the waveform. So if I zoom in, just get real precise here, I wanna make sure that that marker is right at the beginning of this spike, and hey, your girl got it on the nose. All right, now that I have marked the beats in our timeline, I want to show you how you can navigate quickly between these markers. So I want you to go up to your program monitor panel and click this plus icon. It's going to let you add a couple buttons that we're going to use to navigate between the markers. And so I want you to go to these two symbols here, go to next marker, and go to previous marker. And I want you to click and drag those down to the bottom of the program monitor panel so that they're always there. And now these buttons are going to snap us between markers. The other way that you can navigate between these markers is by using a keyboard shortcut that I have customized to be the less than symbol to go left and the greater than symbol to go right. And if you look at those keys on the keyboard, they kind of look like a left arrow and a right arrow. And so it makes it really easy to remember how to go to the closest marker to the left or the right. Anyway, being able to quickly navigate between these markers means that I can snap the playhead to a marker, then drag in a clip so that it ends right on the beat. Anyway, let's get back to our picnic cinematic sequence here. And before we start fine cutting this, I want you to notice that when I click on a clip, and I copy it, and then let's say I go over here and I paste it, it's actually pasted all of the markers that were over here and it's brought them over here. Now that is a problem because now things are all out of whack. The reason Premiere is doing this is because I have a setting up here checked in my markers menu that says that when I copy and paste, that is going to include not only the clip, but these sequence markers. And so you want to make sure that this setting is unchecked if you're going to be using markers to cut your clips at the beat, because your markers need to stay at the beat. They don't need to move, right? So now that we have that setting unchecked in our markers menu, if we go ahead and copy and paste a clip in our timeline, then you can see that it hasn't pasted any of the markers, which is what we want. Finally, I want you to notice what happens when I right click and I ripple delete this clip. It has also messed up my markers here. Mary does not want that, and so we're gonna undo that. The reason Premiere is doing that is because, again, we've got another setting up here checked in our markers menu that says when we ripple delete, that it's going to ripple the sequence markers as well. I don't want that. Make sure that that is unchecked as well. Now, if we were using markers to mark something like chapters in our sequence, like if we had a really long video and we were marking different sections, we might want to leave this checked, right? Because if we needed to lengthen a section, then we would want those markers to ripple. But in this case, that's not what we want.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
All right, kids, y'all know what that means. That means that I have talked so long in this lesson that if I talk anymore, you're not gonna remember anything that I said. And so this is the time to pause the video and practice what we've been talking about so far if you haven't been following along already. So here are the tasks that you want to take care of. You want to duplicate your sequence to make sure you have a backup version in case you screw things up. You want to unlink and get rid of any audio that you don't want, like audio from your camera. You want to find a song, add it to your timeline, and lock that music track. And then you want to use your audio waveforms to set markers at the beats in your timeline. Once you're done with all of that, then come back here and we're going to jump into the next section where we're going to find cut your clips.